Hi, my name is Kareem Morris. This is Larry Massa. We're here to talk about five-tool QB. So about 18 years ago, I started training quarterbacks religiously, and every weekend during the week, and just putting down, my system and how I teach and how I coach. About 12 years ago, I came up with the five-tool moniker, the five-tool Mimi, as far as just my plan, my goal to train my kids and what we do and how we do it. So Laurie's partnered up with me almost 2 years ago now. He runs the South Bay here in San Diego and oversees the kids down in the South. That it's tough for them to get up to see me. I'm up in North San Diego in Rancho Bernardo training. He's down in the South County in Chula Vista, East Lake area at Mater Dei High School. And we're here to talk a little bit about five-tool QB. So the five tools, we'll just start with that. Very simple put is I stole something from baseball. They talk about a five-tool player, and that's the same thing we want in our quarterbacks. We want them to be a five-tool guy. And number one, in my opinion, what's most important is I need a leader. A guy who's going to show up early, leave late, and put in all the extra time, not only in the football room, but in the classroom, with his teammates, with his outside curricular activities. I need a guy who's going to lead and step up and above and beyond to be a great quarterback.
Right.
And then number two is knowledge. Quarterbacks have to be the smartest player on the field. Not only do you have to know your job and what you do, but you also have to understand every other position, not only on offense, but also defense. You gotta understand, if you got to check with me, and we got a 3 technique and a 1 technique on by defensive tackles, which way I want to run that ball. And we gotta understand the secondary, and what the secondary is trying to do to you, the defensive backfield, whether it's single high, cover 3, man free,
right,
or cover 2, or even a 4 look. And understanding those knowledge, having that knowledge, and knowing what the defense is trying to do to you, we can have more success and actually dictate the game from the offense to the defense. Because as we get dictated to, we're losing that game.
Right.
When the defense gets hot and they get some good stuff rolling. So I want the most knowledgeable guy at quarterback. Number 3 is toughness. And toughness has nothing to do with taking a hit.
No.
You find out real quick the guys who can take a hit and guys who can't. Toughness really is about the mental toughness it takes to play this position. You're literally the most ridiculed player on the planet in the game that you play. As a quarterback, we talk about there's a hero and a goat, and there's no in between. We don't get a gray area. You get all the credit for winning, and you shouldn't. It's your teammates, your line, your running backs, your wide receivers, your defense, your coaching staff, the game plan. But actually, it's really about understanding is, how tough are you mentally to play this game? If you throw 3 picks, can you come back and still win that game?
Right.
Can you take the ridicule on the papers from your peers, at school because you lost the game and you didn't play well? Can you take the ridicule of your teammates? And not to mention, we as coaches, and I'm a coach, and Laurie's a coach, and we both coach here in high school football in San Diego, and there's times, I'll be honest, I've probably come across a little harsh to my quarterback, just a little bit. I'm tough on my quarterbacks, the guys that actually play for me. And so, but you got to be able to take that ribbon, you got to be able to take that, animosity, so to speak, towards you. And are you mentally tough enough to step up and compete the next play, to be in the moment, to let, be more like a duck where the water just falls off your back, and be in the moment and to play well?
I was going to say, the first 3, leadership, knowledge, and toughness, right? When we do North County 5-tool, when we do South County 5-tool, what's very interesting is what really attracted me to 5-tool was the way you talk about the mental toughness, right? The M and the M, right? That's something we have started, the M and the M, the mental methodologies. It's all about, what do you say? Where's 90% of the game play?
Oh, from your shoulders up.
Right. And then
play up here.
And then where's 10%?
Oh, the rest. The funny thing is, kids work.
Thank you.
85-90% on the physical, and forget that this is a mental game. I was with Charlie Collins. Charlie Collins, who, unbelievable wide receiver coach. 25-year NFL vet as a wide receiver coach in the NFL.
Okay.
And 3 weeks ago, training with him in a camp and working with him, and he's a good friend of mine. And he said, I want the smartest player on the field. He goes, it doesn't matter if you're the most physical. It doesn't matter if you have the best talent. But if you're extremely intelligent, you're going to play for a lot of years. And I want that kid that plays from the neck up. This game is 85-90% mental. And you got to understand, because you got to be mentally tough.
Right.
You got to be a leader and have the intangibles they talk about. You know, you got to have the knowledge, which is understanding the game, your offense, what the defense is trying to do to you, who's trying to dictate to you and who's not,
Correct.
and be able to turn around and flip that and put it back and put the pressure on the defensive coordinator, on the defense, on the specific players, positional players, basically your system.
What I talk about is, if you're the OC or you're the head coach and you're the OC, what I talk about is, who gave you the keys of the car? Pick a car you like to drive. Who gave you the keys of the car? The man on the sidelines. He's saying, go drive my car, but be responsible. Be a leader out there. Be mentally tough. Be all the top three things we talked about in the tools.
And to have the success, no offense, no one goes up, I want to drive a jalopy.
Right.
You know, that piece of junk car that nobody wants, you know, that's got holes in it, it's rusted out the bottom.
Or they're picking the Ferrari, man.
Yeah, you know, give me the, what's the hot car right now, the Lamborghini,
Right.
or the Bugatti, or all this stuff, you know. I'll be honest, give me a good solid truck, I'm happy, but that's just me. You know, but at the same point, it's true, is if we're gonna give you the keys to the hot rod, you better know how to drive that thing and drive it properly and be respectful with it. Yeah, you're gonna push it. You gotta push the limit. But you're gonna be respectful with it, and you're gonna have the leadership, the knowledge, and the toughness to do it.
Right.
And that gets into, you know, number four, which is number four is footwork. I'm a firm believer that if you don't have the footwork, you can't play any position. I don't care what sport it is. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how strong you are. If you don't have the footwork to put your body in position to make the play.
Absolutely.
In any sport. But specifically quarterbacking, if we don't have our footwork to put our bodies in the right position to make plays on a consistent basis. Now, there's always, you know, sometimes you just got to make a play.
Right.
Right.
That's gonna happen.
You got to have some fun.
Right.
You know, you get flushed from the pocket. There's a weird rush. They threw a blitz you weren't expecting. Something happens.
Absolutely.
And I got to make a play. You know, Mount's
So be an
running
athlete,
with.
right?
Yeah. Our running back missed the block, the pickup,
Never
right?
happens.
The lookout block. So in that aspect, we have to make a play. But again, 85% of our stuff, we want to be balanced. We want to know our footwork. You know, Bill Walsh was amazing in teaching Joe Montana his system and saying, look, I need this on 5 and a hitch. You know, I need the curl, you know, certain routes on 5 and a hitch. I need the bang post, the speedo, you know, on 5 no hitch, and it's a rhythm 5, you know, with a short drop. You know, change my footwork a little bit.
Absolutely.
You know, the comeback route, which I think Carson Palmer throws the best right now in the league. He takes a very short 7, a quick hitch, and he throws it so early, the 2 ball. If you watch Fitzy, you know, Larry Fitzgerald, those guys catch this ball, man, that ball's in the air just the minute they sink their hips. And they chop, 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 come out, and that ball is right here almost every single time because it's a rhythm and timing throw. Everything is a big arm throw. I know I did when I played in college and even the pros, but it's a rhythm and timing throw. And I think we have to have the footwork to set our base, our foundation to have success is in the base and in our footwork and what we're trying to accomplish.
Well, I was just going to ask you too, what do you think, you've listed 4, right? We got 1 more to go.
That's it.
To get to the 5. But in your expert opinion, what do you think separates, because I can tell you what I think separates you from everybody I see on blogs, internet, Instagram, and so on and so forth. But in my opinion, yeah, you call us coaches, everybody calls us coaches, but reality is you are a what first? You are a teacher first.
Educator.
If you cannot teach a kid, because you're going to learn differently. I'm going to learn different than Cree is. Cree's going to learn different than Maury is. But at the end of the day, if you cannot teach the game to that specific individual, like we're talking about the footwork, Joe Montana didn't run the same footwork as Carson Palmer. Doesn't run the same as Cree.
No.
You have to teach the position to that particular athlete. So just
again,
elaborate a little bit on that.
We talked about this earlier, just
Right.
in coaches. You set me up for this. I can see what you're doing here. It's good. So you know, there's coaches that have systems, and I have a system in place, and I call it A to Z. But if you can't A, B, C, me teaching anything else doesn't work. Now, I have, let's say, 100 quarterbacks. Right. They all have different levels, all have different arm strengths, different athletic abilities. Do I teach the same system? Yes. Do I teach them all exactly the same? No.
Correct.
because all their bodies are different. The way God made us is different. I don't have one quarterback or two quarterbacks that look exactly alike.
Probably nor do they look exactly alike.
Not even close.
Correct.
Because God made all our bodies different.
Right.
So we as coaches, we as teachers, as educators, we have to learn to adapt. And you have to, be able to make adjustments within that athlete. This is how your body's going to work most efficiently. And I was fortunate to have some great classes in college, kinesiology and exercise physiology, and teach me body movements and ball and socket joints and different things. And I'll be honest, my two favorite classes, I pulled A's in both because I love the class.
Right.
When you find something that excites you, it's easy
Right.
to pull A's in those classes. And so, the bigger picture is this, is understanding really, getting to know a kid, spending time. I tell kids very often, I teach differently. What I teach is muscle memory. You have to do the same thing over and over and over and over again to have that muscle memory. So in the heat of the battle, your body's going to go back to what it knows. Right? So
Absolutely.
that muscle memory.
Right.
So if your body's used to basically just spazzing out all over the place, guess what's going to happen when that rush comes or something to that extent? That's exactly what's going to happen is I'm going to be in trouble trying to have that success and be, sound fundamentally as far as my mechanics, my footwork. So I'm extremely anal retentive, and it's easy for me to say that. I'm very much a set guy. You got to start with A, move to B, then go to C, and understand your body movements.
Right.
And that happening now gives me my foundation, my house. When I want to build a house, well, if I don't lay a foundation and we just go throw it on some sand, probably not going to last long.
Right. I
need to lay that cement down nice and smooth, completely balanced, exact square footage that I need, right?
Right.
Where I have that foundation, where I have that base. Tiger Woods talks about 10,000 swings. Most of these kids, even in high school, I've thrown 10,000 balls, coach. Yeah, but the problem is, you threw 10,000 balls wrong. See the huge slacks.
Right.
Well, I need you to throw it right down the middle every single time.
Right.
Or they throw the hook because
Right.
their body's out of alignment, their body's aren't right. So, as we get to number 5, which is accuracy and efficiency. So people go, well, what about arm strength? Well, let's be honest. Think about the top 3 quarterbacks right now in the NFL in arm strength. And they're pretty easy to name. Okay? Well, we'll start with Aaron Rodgers. Enormous arm. Freak. Great athlete, right? Huge arm.
Right.
And then probably Big Ben's in that mix.
Absolutely.
And Joe Flacco.
Right.
Are the 3 guys they talk about the biggest arms in the league. Who has the most success in the league, let's say over the last 10 years? Well, obviously number 1's a no-brainer. Right, let's go with Tom Brady.
Okay.
No one's ever mistaken him to have a huge arm.
Right.
Ever. Drew Brees, no one's ever mistaken him to have a big arm.
Right.
But, he's 2 seasons away from probably owning the passing record in the NFL of all time.
Absolutely.
Of all time. And we're not talking about a 6'5" laser thrower. We're talking about a guy who's 6 foot, maybe 5'11" and a half, who's got a very good arm, but not a great arm.
Right, absolutely.
Who's thrown for over 5,000 yards a season.
For like the last, what?
6, 7 years?
Right.
So where's that tell you he plays from? It's not from here down, it's from here up.
Absolutely.
If they had had some good defenses, it probably won a few more Super Bowls.
Right. He's got one though.
Oh, he does have one.
Absolutely.
So, and that's the understanding is, it's not your arm strength. I have guys with completely different arm strengths. Guys who don't throw the ball very well, guys who throw the ball great. And I would tell you this, Joe Montana won 4 Super Bowls. No one's ever going to confuse Joe Montana with having a big arm. But
how about the guy that played in 1-1 for one AFC team, has a U on the helmet, and then the Colt on the a Bronco on the other side of the helmet, and his arm strength isn't the strongest either.
No.
What does he have? He understands the game.
This game's played from here up. We'll go clear back to Johnny U.
Okay.
Okay, Johnny Unitas.
Okay.
His first camp, what happened? Do you know?
No, I have no idea, but I'm sure I'm going to get educated right now.
Thanks for coming. The door's over there, don't let it hit your ass on the way out.
Seriously.
He got cut. Woohoo! If you go back and you know your history of this game, Johnny Unitas is considered one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He got cut. Thanks for coming.
Don't need you today.
Don't need you today. Maybe next year you'll get another shot.
Right.
Oh, he came in and ended up taking the job and obviously doing some things.
Right.
So you guys, something about for you young guys out there, you might be a backup, second, third string. It's never how you start, it's how you finish. And that's something that you got to understand is you got to have the mental willpower.
There goes the M.
back to this mental game. You got to have the heart and the mind to go, you know what? This coach said I suck. It's because he's not a very good coach. He's horrible. I'm teasing. But you know, he's saying you're not good enough. You're not this, you're not that. Are you mentally strong enough, mentally tough? The toughness, back to number 3. Are you mentally tough enough to step up and work your ass off,
right,
and come back and swing again and compete again? And that's what it's about. Is we have so many guys. You know, I've said this for years, and I'm a firm believer to this day because I see it happen all over San Diego County and across the nation. We as coaches can ruin kids faster and more than we can help them.
Absolutely.
When you know, we spend our weekends training kids, and honestly, I'm going to tell you, probably 50% of my time isn't even about X's and O's or footwork or mechanics. It's about the kid shows up and he has his head hanging down, and he's struggling, and he's been beat up all week from a coach. You're not good enough. You're not this. You'll never play. You won't do this.
You make the right read.
You didn't do this right. You didn't do that right. And he's like, Coach, man, I'm giving it my best, but I'm struggling. Right. Well, the first and foremost thing I try to do is pick their head up. What do you believe? Do you want this? Yes, Coach.
Absolutely.
Then if you're here, because you know me, I send kids away.
Right.
I want kids who want to be great.
Right.
Now, it may not even translate to their starter in high school, but you know, a great example. I have a kid who played 4 years in high school football. He's you know, 4.4, 4.3 student, you know, Eagle Scout, amazing leader, amazing.
You got Mr. Ferker, an Eagle Scout, huh?
Yeah, David Ferker, Eagle Scout, gotta love that. That's not easy to accomplish, by the way.
No, it's not.
Everything's always an Eagle Scout. You don't realize that's 18 years. On their 18th year, they get that opportunity, and they have to have it done before their 18th birthday and their final project. Isn't that right, David?
Yep.
And so in that happening, as you gotta understand, is that's a lot of work, and there's a lot of projects. People don't realize how much time and effort that these guys put in. So I have a kid, one of those type of guys, amazing work ethic. He's held for 4 years. I don't think he's ever dropped a snap, to be honest with you, holding. Who got a preferred walk-on offer at Notre Dame.
Wow. Where's that at?
One of the most prestigious colleges in the country. And here's the kicker. He didn't start a single game his senior year. He was the backup. The starter is going to play a different position in college at Boston College.
Okay.
Great kid. But this gentleman, I won't say his last name, let's go with JD, is a preferred walk-on. He's going to hold at Notre Dame for 4 years. They're going to teach him how to be the signal caller because he's so intelligent,
right,
and they know he won't screw it up.
Right.
And he'll hold, which means he'll play.
Wait, time out. You said something to me again. Intelligence. Goes back to that M&M, right?
Have to. You know, again, back to the knowledge of the game.
Absolutely.
Leadership, understanding, you know, the finer moments. And again, to all you kids out there, all you players out there, let me explain something to you. There's not one big thing that any coach, I don't care if he's a guru or if he's the best in the country or whatever it is, or he's the worst in the country. There's not one thing they can teach you that's going to set you apart from everyone else. It's the sum of all the small parts that add up.
Absolutely.
To make you, and you know this, you've seen me coach for years, and we've been talking and working together now for a couple, it's the sum of all the little moments, the little pieces that we're trying to take away from you because it's a false movement, or we're trying to add to you to have more success. And once you add those up and build those up and continue to work on it, and it's more about what the kids do when they're not with us, because we get to see them once every weekend.
Right. I was just going to say, how do you get better at the 5 tools you just mentioned? Is it when I show up and I see Cree today, or I see Coach LM, or is it when you're at home? It's just like doing homework, right? That's how you get better. You do your homework. When you're not with us, you're at home doing your homework.
Yeah, there's mirror work. You know, golfers use mirrors all the time, and they do. They use mirror work. Boxers, they want to see where their hands are, their hand placement. You know, where they're set up at to throw punches and everything else. And so that's the same thing for quarterbacks.
Right.
Most of the time, quarterbacks are very visual.
Absolutely.
Visualization, right? So we got to see the play before we ever play the play.
Right.
We have to understand that, and we have to be able to execute it on a whim.
Right.
You know, so I give guys homework almost every single weekend that I train. Guys that I work with, I want you to go home and work on this specifically.
Right.
And then when they come back that following weekend, did you work on this? Yes, coach, or no, coach?
Right.
And you know as well as I do, it's painfully obvious the guys who didn't put in the time.
You can tell. Because
And then
I'm coaching the same thing
And
again.
I tell guys, I tell their parents, I tell their coaches, don't bring him back to me unless he works on this stuff. Because if he doesn't, you're wasting my time.
Absolutely.
And that's something that, you can't buy time. I never get that moment back.
Right.
And I want guys to chase greatness. I want guys who want to be great.
Right.
And to do that, it's about putting in the little things. It's putting in the finer points of things and the timing. So with the M&M, the methodology, the mindfulness, the methodology that we're trying to achieve is to take our kids to the higher level.
Absolutely.
A good friend of mine calls it, he goes, Cree, you want to take them to the higher realm.
There you go.
And it's the truth. It's a higher realm. It's they talk about third eye and all this other stuff, which I'm not going to get into, but it's taking their mental part of their lives and their game to a different level.
Right.
And I'll be honest, we're not just making quarterbacks. If that's your goal, honestly, go to one of those gurus, pay them an astounding amount of money, and get robbed. I want to make you mindful of where you're at, where you're trying to go, and what your goals are. Because not only do I want to make you a better quarterback, I want to make you a better man, a better person, hopefully a better businessman, and hopefully a more mature understanding of life and what it truly brings and entails. And we're here to build young men of character, young men of leadership ability, of knowledge, who are coming from a place of humbleness and gratefulness.
Right.
It's that
think about
so
your
important.
first three. Name them off. Knowledge,
leadership, knowledge,
and what?
and toughness.
Okay. Those have really, you can apply that to everyday life.
Anything in life.
Right? We use the sport of football, in my opinion, to make you better at the end of the day, because you and I both know football ends.
Oh.
You can't play football. I don't care how good you think you are, you can't play football until you're 90. It just doesn't happen.
Unless you're Tom Brady.
Well,
or Drew Brees for that
at least
matter.
half his life, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But the bigger picture is, and I've developed a better young man.
And at the end of the
And
day,
at the end of the day,
that's what we want.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want you to improve in the classroom. I want you to improve on the field. Honestly, I talk about it all the time. How can you say yes to me all day at a workout and then go home and tell your parents no?
Right.
How can you not go take out the trash? Well, Mom, I'm busy. No, you're not.
Right.
Put the damn game down.
Right.
Take the trash out. She has to do something very specific and simple. But guys don't do it.
Right.
And it's that type of stuff is holding the kids accountable. And I tell parents, if these kids don't work on your stuff, do not bring them back to me.
Right.
And they look at me like I'm crazy.
Well,
Look, it's not about the money. And I want it, and I need it,
Right.
I love it. I mean, it's great
That's
for
what you
business,
do.
right? It's what I
Yeah,
do.
absolutely.
But it's not about that. It's really about how can I set this young man apart from his peers, from his other guys going after his goals,
Right.
to make him a better young man, a student athlete. And to be a student, obviously the mental part of the game, that's the
Right.
student part.
Uh-huh.
Not only just in the classroom, but on the field, but even at home. How can we continue to build up these young men, have them grow and mature, and get them to where they want to be, even though they may not know it? And that's our goal, and my goal, at least as a coach, as a teacher, as a mentor,
Right.
is I want to teach you mental and physical. And I promise you,
At the end
you
of the
won't
day,
find better.
That's best in the country right here, man.
That's it.
Mr. Cree Morris. But my thoughts are, the first three, the knowledge, the leadership, the mental toughness, you can take that anywhere. You can take that in business, you can take that in everyday life, just walking, it's how you give back.
And it's providing kids with these opportunities.
Yeah.
So like I work with GES Advisory.
Right.
Which is that Shemmy Schembechler. You might have heard of his dad, a guy named Bo Schembechler.
No.
He was.
Did he coach?
I believe he was a coach for a year, maybe two.
Yeah.
That.
Did he coach with some team that was blue and yellow?
Yeah. I believe it's named after him now, right? Schembechler's building. And so, what he does is provides scouting service for the kids and helps place them in college.
Yeah.
Most high school coaches, if you're out there and you're watching this, and you think your high school coach is going to make all the phone calls you need to get to where you want to be, that's not going to happen.
Right.
And Shemmy does that for GESadvisory.com. Shemmy Schembechler is just one of the best in the business that I've partnered up with and done an amazing job.
Yeah.
Been very fortunate to come across some great trainers, guys who do the actual physical training. Todd Durkin at Fitness Quest 10 does an amazing job. A couple of speed coaches here in town. Lionel Hamilton, obviously,
Absolutely.
as we would talk about with Fast Camp Athletics. Kevin Burton does a hell of a job. KB does here in town. And then just a few people I want to name out is there's some unbelievable coaches, speed coaches, different things here in town in San Diego.
Absolutely.
Obviously. And
But
across
that's
the
where it
nation.
starts. It starts with
It starts in your backyard.
Right. But at the end of the day, people like to say I know all this stuff. Yeah, but sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. And getting in with the right
I'm gonna tell you right
guys that
now,
are putting mentorship first.
I would tell you, David would tell you the same. For him to get the job that he is at SDN is I'm sure he knew someone had it in. Hopefully, normally that's how it works. Hey, guys, look, it's not about us. And even when I have issues and I have problems, I go to a higher power, someone who knows more than me. I have a couple guys in my Rolodex, so to speak, that I call up when I have questions as a coach. The guys who mentored me back when I was in high school. And matter of fact, I'm going through, Be a Beast, extreme focus to become a mental coach through a gentleman named Dave Austin, who is actually the only mental coach that's endorsed by the Pentagon. And if you want to know how difficult that is to get, go try to get an endorsement from the Pentagon.
Right.
He actually deals with Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, and I don't mean like just the bottom level guys. I'm talking about the elite of the elite, the top. He just got back from the International Olympic training facility up there in Colorado. It was Colorado Springs, I believe. And they employ 157, I believe is the number, sports psychologists for the United States Olympic Games.
Wow.
Guess who all the players want to deal with them mentally right now? It's not a sports psychologist. They want to bring in Dave Austin and his son Shane Austin, and in the very near future me. That's what I'm shooting for.
Absolutely.
Is I'm constantly trying to grow and get better, understand something. And I'm 46 years old. Lori's 47.
But wait a second. You said something earlier which I love. You have a couple guys in your Rolodex that you reach out to. And what happened about 2 days ago? Who did I reach out to in my Rolodex? It's that's how you grow. You reach out to somebody and say, "Hey man, I have an idea. What do you think?" And they're like, "Yeah, I'll validate that idea, and this is why." That's how you learn. That's how you grow. That's how you develop.
You've got to have people that you can bounce off of. And David, I'll use you as an example. Obviously, is I know when you first got in this business, I'm hoping that you knew enough you didn't know it all. And I would even say today, you brought in some new pieces of equipment that we're getting to work with today, which I really appreciate it. Thank you. But you also have a couple of guys, I'm sure, in your Rolodex that when you have questions or something you want to change or move to, that you're going to make a phone call and go, "Hey, what do you guys think about this? How can we do that?" And that's what it's about. Look, I'm smart enough to know I don't know it all. And I'm constantly learning. I learn sometimes more from the kids than I think I'm teaching them. Because you learn every day, different experiences. They say always give a smile to everyone you come across because you don't know what life, falters they're in and what's going on in their lives. And that being said we got to continue to grow and learn as teachers, as educators, as coaches. Because even though we have a set baseline, we're right here, right straight across.
Absolutely.
And if you step outside this baseline, well, that's the end. I'm cutting you, or I'm keeping you, or you're suspended, or whatever the case may be. But I watched a story this morning, and I'll share it real quick. Lady was at Walmart, and there was a 16-year-old kid behind the counter.
Okay.
And he's struggling. He just couldn't remember the codes, couldn't type things in properly, the scanner wasn't working properly, he was struggling. And then this older lady who was paying, her credit card wouldn't work. And she's struggling with it, and I've got money in there, and she starts yelling at this 16-year-old kid who you could tell is already having a rough day, right?
Start sweating bullets, start red.
He's struggling, right? Well, the card doesn't work, and he starts bawling his eyes out. And the lady who was telling the story, she goes, "I'm behind this older lady," and I just told the kid, "Hey, it's going to be okay. Don't worry about it.
Right.
It's okay."
Right.
The kid breaks down in tears, bawling his eyes out, and he comes around and falls into this lady's arms and is just sobbing. And this old lady, who's literally basically cussing his ass out, right up one side down there, telling what an idiot, dumbass he is, all these wonderful, terrible names, not wonderful, all these terrible names. And he tells the lady that's hugging him and told him, "Hey, it'll be okay. My mom died this morning. She OD'd.
Wow.
And I have to work this job because I have to pay rent, so I have a place to stay." Now, if you're the old lady cussing him out, you're probably not feeling too good about yourself.
Right. Insert foot,
right? And if you're the lady behind, you're soaking that up, just going, I don't know this guy, but I'm not going to let him go. You know, I'm going to be able to have it up. And so, you know, the story, moral of the story is, I have players who I have gotten hard on, not knowing that maybe a tragic accident happened the night before with their family, or something that morning, and I've had to go back and eat crow.
Right.
So yes, we have a static baseline as coaches, as mentors, as teachers, as educators, but sometimes you really need to step up and find out, hey David, what's going on with you today? How you feeling? You all right?
Yeah.
Because there might be something behind that. And sometimes if we could just take that next step, ask that next question to teach and educate, and you deal with this now even in modern day, right?
That's like that's being a teacher, man. Like sometimes you gotta eat crow, right?
Oh.
If you can't do that, then you're in the wrong line of business, because what did we say we're here to do? We're developing young men through the sport of football, so that when football is over, they're better young men because they interacted with us.
100%.
100%. So let's just get tied back into the 5 tools again. Why don't you repeat those for us?
You know, the 5 tools is, I want a leader. I want someone who's going to be the first to show up, last to sleep. A guy who's got to have the most knowledge on the field. Not only his position, but every position on that field and what they're trying to accomplish, right?
Absolutely.
Number 3 is toughness. It's not about taking a hit. In life, you're going to get knocked down. It's when you get back up that matters. And it's about the mental toughness. And that's truly what it takes to be a quarterback, because you're going to get berated in the papers. You're going to be yelled at by your coach more than any other player. It's an automatic, right?
Everybody in the stands is going to say,
everyone in the stands is going to be yelling at you. You know, when you play in front of 2,000 or 110,000 at the Big House in Michigan. You know, and then number 4 is footwork, which for me is your foundation.
Right.
You have to have a foundation with your feet. You have to have understanding, not to be up on your toes, not to be on your heels, but on the balls of your feet so you can make movements. Number 5 is efficiency. How efficient are you at your job? David, you've been in the media business now for, going on your 26, at least 6-7 years, right? And so I would still say you're kind of new at it.
Yeah.
And especially with media, it changes constantly, correct?
Oh yeah.
So knowing that, you got to stay on the times. Well, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm 46 years old. I've been privately coaching quarterbacks for over 18 years. I'm doing this most of my life, and I love it. And I was fortunate enough to play for many, many years. So that being said, I'm now involved in a leadership class, as I just explained earlier, Extreme Focus, Beast Mode Principles, and I'm trying to grow in the next 3 months. It's a 3-month class, and I have to make sacrifices. I have to set time apart in my day to make sure I go through my principles, right, and take care of my stuff. And all that being said, you know, we go to accuracy and efficiency, is I have to be efficient in my job and what I'm trying to accomplish for my kids. And my kids, meaning anyone I mentor, anyone I coach, anyone I teach, anyone I educate. And it's not just the players, it's outside of football. It's in their education.
Right.
It's trying to hook them up with Shammy, trying to get them somewhere into college, right? Because at the end of the day, our goal is to put as many as we can into college, get your education. If you get a playbook and an opportunity to get your education,
right,
you live in the dream.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's D1, D2, D3, NAIA.
Football. Hey, you know what I saw? Another good friend of mine. He's a great teacher. He's over at Trinity now. He's the assistant head coach. Just got promoted. Lamont Butler. He said if you can play, they will find you. Trinity University kid got signed free agent contract. Like, if you can play the game, they're gonna find you.
If you're that good, the NFL will find you. There are too many guys out there now. It's too much. It's $1 billion business. Right. It's their job to find the hidden gems.
There you go.
And there's some teams in the NFL. It's interesting when they get down to the free agent list of who they want to bring into camp. And I won't say what teams because I just read this, and whether it's true or not, I'm not sure. So I don't know these guys personally, but they actually go and look for the dark horses. The guys in D2, the guys in D3, the NAI guys who got overlooked.
Right.
You know, maybe they were steps slower, an inch too short, or whatever the case may be, coming out of high school, so they weren't that 5-star recruit. There was a lot of guys, you know, who didn't get drafted, who've had pretty good careers in the NFL. You know, I won't bring up
the only one that I can think of. I mean, he was drafted, but when was he drafted? I mean, they don't even have those rounds anymore. What, like the 8th round, the 7th round? They don't even have those anymore. Like, who was it? Brady.
No, he was 6th, 199th pick. 6th round.
It was the last round pick.
So, but I'm gonna give you another one. How about Tony Romo?
There's another one.
Free agent.
There you go.
Had a pretty good career. Now, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, understand something. I grew up in the 70s watching Roger Staubach. He was my idol. You know, 20 Dorset area. era, Robert Newhouse, whose thighs were bigger than my whole body at the time, being the young man that I was. But, I grew up a Dallas fan. Now I'm just a football fan. And excited to see what happens this next season. I do have some favorites. But at the same point, it's really about seeing guys have success and giving them opportunities. Fortunate enough to train two guys, Steve Cluley, who went to camp with the New York Giants in the last mini camp. And I'll give you a great example. Michael Birdsong, who just went to camp with the Seattle Seahawks. Now, Michael started as a freshman at James Madison, right?
Not bad college.
No, James Madison University, decent. Gets hurt. They play a younger guy, no problem. I'm sorry, coaching staff was James Madison. Coaching staff changed, they brought on their own kid.
Okay.
So he gets benched. So he transferred, he goes to Marshall.
Okay.
Plays at Marshall, beats Purdue and some other big name teams, right? Gets hurt. They decided to bring in a freshman underneath him who played decent. They decided to go with a younger kid. So for his senior year, his 5th year in college, he transfers and goes to Tennessee Tech. Okay, no offense, neither one of you guys does enough to get himself into an NFL camp. So I get him for a couple of weeks, we're working and training and talking, goes to camp with the Seattle Seahawks, this past mini camp. Here's the interesting thing about football. Coach Carroll, after the mini camp, says Michael Birdsong graded out the best for the 3 days mini camp.
I think the word he used, what was the word he used? Fire.
Fire. It was on fire. That's right, he was on fire. Graded out the best. Guess what happened? They still kept the local guy from the year before, and cut Michael. So Michael's about to go to a new team. Now, I already know what team that is, but it hasn't been officially announced, so I won't say it here on this podcast. Let's just say it's somewhere in the South. It's not in Florida, it's not in Texas, and it's not in Georgia. That's pretty much narrows it down to one state, so I'll let you figure that out. But he's going there, and he thinks it's a great fit. I do too, because the two guys that are already ahead of him there, I've met. So I'm really excited for him. But when the head coach says you grade out the best, and I still am going to release it. Understand, once you get to that level, it is a business. A business.
Sunday's game day.
Sunday is game day.
That's when it's a game.
And they decided to keep the local guy, even though for 3 days straight, the head coach, Coach Carroll, swore amazingly how well he did. I've got the articles to prove it. Go on my Facebook. I've proved it. So it's interesting how that works out, but at the end of the day, it's still a business. But again, football is the greatest thing and the closest thing to life from my aspect is because you're going to get knocked down. Actually, David and I were just talking. He had a situation when he was in college and maybe didn't handle it the best he could have at the time and got knocked down. Yet he has figured out a way somehow to stay in this business and have great success. I know because I followed your blogs, I followed your stuff online, and I appreciate you for what you do here in San Diego, David, and thank you very, very much for it. Because you provide a service that most wouldn't take the time to do. And it's not an easy thing to do. I know how many countless hours that you've never been paid for, and you're not about to get paid for in that aspect of what you do. But it matters to you. You found a passion, you found something that he loved, and he's chasing it. And has he been set back? Has he been knocked down? Absolutely. But every time he gets knocked down, he gets back up and throws another uppercut or a cut, uppercut, a hook or a haymaker. I'm swinging for fences. And he's chasing greatness. Lowry's chasing greatness in what he does. I'm chasing greatness in what I do. And at the end of the day, if you have a passion and you love this game, and you want to be coached with some of the best in the country, come see us. We're here for you.
5-tool, baby.
5-tool QB. Appreciate it, brother.
Absolutely. Good work.